Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare states $quarter coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, I'm bringing you an extraordinary piece from the United States, the Vermont State Quarter from 2001. Now, at first glance, it might look like just another state quarter, but trust me, this coin has some secrets that make it incredibly special and highly sought after by collectors worldwide. So, listen closely, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why this small piece of metal could be worth an astonishing $72,000. Let's start with a little background. The Vermont Quarter was part of the 50 State Quarters program, a series released by the U.S. Mint from 1999 to 2008 to honor each state with unique designs on the reverse side of the quarter. Vermont's design showcases a classic scene, a soaring adult and juvenile common loon, symbols of Vermont's beautiful natural lakes and wilderness. This design captured the spirit of Vermont perfectly, making it a favorite among collectors, but what makes the 2001 Vermont Quarter really stand out isn't just its design, it's the rare minting errors that have surfaced, turning a common coin into a prized collector's item. Now, I know collectors love to hunt for error coins because they are one-of-a-kind, often accidental creations that break the mold and carry stories of the minting process itself. One of the most famous errors associated with the 2001 Vermont Quarter is the so-called double die error. This happens when the coin's design is stamped twice in slightly different positions, causing the details, like the loon's feathers or the lettering, to appear doubled or blurry. This kind of error is very rare because the mint's quality controls are usually top-notch. However, when such a mistake slips through, it instantly becomes a valuable collector's treasure. Another key error to watch out for is the off-center strike. This is when the coin isn't properly aligned during minting, so the design is partially missing or shifted to one side. These coins are often visually striking and highly desirable because each off-center strike is unique in its misalignment, making no two coins exactly the same. But how do you identify these errors if you're not an expert? First, look closely at the lettering around the coin, especially the words Vermont and E pluribus unum. If the letters look shadowed or doubled, you might have spotted a double die error. Using a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe can help you catch these tiny details. For off-center strikes, just check if the design looks incomplete or shifted away from the center. Sometimes these can be subtle, so compare with a normal quarter if you're unsure. So, why do these errors make the coin so rare and valuable? Well, minting errors like these are accidental and happen in very limited quantities. Unlike regular quarters that were produced in the millions, error coins only exist because something went slightly wrong during production and survived the mint's quality checks. That rarity, combined with the demand from collectors who love owning something unique, drives the value way up. And here's something really exciting. In recent auctions, well-preserved 2001 Vermont quarters with these rare errors have sold for jaw-dropping prices. In fact, the rarest of these error coins have fetched prices as high as $72,000. Yes, you heard that right, $72,000 for a single state quarter. This incredible figure shows just how much collectors are willing to pay for an authentic, error-affected Vermont quarter in pristine condition. If you have some quarters sitting around, especially from the early 2000s, don't just toss them in a drawer. Take a closer look, you might be holding a hidden treasure. And if you're lucky enough to find one with these minting errors, you could be sitting on a very valuable piece. I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever come across a Vermont quarter with any unusual features? Or maybe you have questions about how to spot errors in your own collection? Drop a comment below and let's get the conversation going. Sharing your finds and experiences helps everyone learn more about these fascinating coins. Top 2, we're shining the spotlight on a truly remarkable coin from the United States, the 2012 Denali National Park Quarter. At first glance, it might seem like a typical entry in the America the Beautiful series, but listen closely because this coin hides some extraordinary secrets that have collectors buzzing. By the end of this video, you'll understand why a single 2012 Denali Quarter could be worth an astonishing $60,000. Let's set the stage. The 2012 Denali Quarter was part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, which features stunning designs that celebrate national parks and historic sites across the country. Denali National Park in Alaska, known for its towering peak and breathtaking wilderness, was perfectly captured on this coin's reverse side, showing a wild grizzly bear and a salmon swimming upstream, a true tribute to Alaska's majestic wildlife. Now, while millions of these coins were minted for circulation, what makes some of them extraordinarily valuable are the rare errors that slipped through the U.S. Mint's quality control. And that's what we're going to explore today. Point 1 of the most intriguing errors collectors hunt for on the 2012 Denali Quarter is known as the missing claw error. If you look closely at the grizzly bear, some coins show the bear's front claw either faintly struck or completely missing. This happens because during the striking process, part of the die that impresses the coin's design can become damaged or worn, causing incomplete impressions on the coin. Since this error is so subtle, it's easy to miss unless you're examining the coin under magnification. Another rare variation that has collectors excited is the double die reverse error. In this case, the details on the back of the coin, like the bear's fur or the salmon scales, appear doubled or shadowed, almost like a ghost image. This occurs when the coin blank is struck more than once due to a misalignment of the dies. Double die errors are incredibly prized because they are unique, limited, and tell a fascinating story about the minting process. If you want to identify these errors on your own, here's what you need to do. Grab a good magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe and carefully inspect the bear's front paw and the fine details on the coin's reverse side. Look for missing features, doubling of lines, or anything that looks unusual compared to a standard Denali quarter. Comparing your coin side by side with a verified normal coin can help highlight subtle differences. So why are these errors so rare? Well, consider that the U.S. Mint produces millions of quarters each year. The quality control process is incredibly strict to avoid these flaws, meaning very few error coins ever make it into circulation. Those that do are like tiny time capsules, proof of a rare glitch in the minting process that collectors simply can't resist. Recently, error versions of the 2012 Denali Quarter have been turning heads in auctions and private sales. In fact, one particularly well-preserved, missing claw, Denali Quarter recently sold for a jaw-dropping $60,000. This incredible price highlights how much collectors are willing to pay for these rare, authentic minting anomalies, especially when they come in pristine, uncirculated condition. If you have a 2012 Denali Quarter in your collection or find one while sorting through your change, take a moment to examine it carefully. You might just be holding a hidden treasure worth far more than face value. And if you think you've spotted an error or have questions about your coins, don't hesitate to drop a comment below. Sharing your discoveries and asking questions is what helps all of us become better collectors. Top 3, we're diving into a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance but is actually a rare gem, the 2007 United States Washington State Quarter. This isn't just any quarter, it's a coin that has captured the attention of collectors everywhere because of its unique errors and extraordinary value. So, grab your magnifying glass and pay close attention, because this coin could be worth an astounding $68,000. Let's start with a little context. The 2007 Washington State Quarter was released as part of the 50 State Quarters program, a series that featured each state with a unique design on the reverse side. Washington's coin showcases the striking image of the Space Needle against the backdrop of Mount Rainier, two iconic symbols of the evergreen state. This quarter was minted in vast quantities, making it a common sight in circulation. But, as with many coins, the real intrigue lies in the rare minting errors that can elevate a simple coin into a collector's treasure. Point 1 of the most fascinating errors found on some 2007 Washington quarters is the die crack error. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin develops a crack, which then transfers to the coin itself as raised lines or cracks on the surface. These die cracks vary in size and shape, but the most notable ones appear around the Space Needle or across the mountain's edge, creating a unique fingerprint on each coin that carries this flaw. Another rare and highly sought-after mistake is the off-center strike. In this error, the coin's design is shifted so that part of the image is missing or cut off, resulting in an off-balance look. These misaligned coins are rare and exciting because each off-center strike is one of a kind, with different degrees of misalignment. They make for fascinating display pieces that collectors love to add to their collections, but here's the real showstopper, the double die error. This is where the coin's design appears doubled, especially visible in the lettering around the rim or the fine details of the Space Needle and Mount Rainier. This error happens when the coin is struck more than once due to misaligned dies, and it's a prized find because it's both rare and visually striking. So, how can you spot these errors yourself? Start by examining your 2007 Washington quarter under a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Look for unusual raised lines that don't match the normal design, those could be die cracks. Check if the design looks off-center or if any part of the coin seems cut off, that's your off-center strike. Finally, look closely at the lettering and details for any doubling effect. Comparing your coin side by side with a standard quarter can help you spot these subtle differences. Why do these errors matter so much? Because the U.S. Mint produces millions of quarters, but very few make it out with such mistakes. These rare imperfections are like little minting accidents that become prized collectibles. The rarer and more visually interesting the error, the more collectors will pay. Recently, coins with these rare errors, especially the double die and significant die crack varieties, have been making waves in the auction world. In one remarkable sale, a pristine 2007 Washington State quarter exhibiting a prominent double die error sold for an incredible $68,000. This staggering price proves how much collectors value authentic, rare error coins in excellent condition. If you're sorting through your coins or have a collection of quarters from this era, take a moment to inspect them carefully. You might be holding on to a valuable piece of numismatic history that could be worth far more than you think. Have you ever found an error coin like this? Or maybe you have questions about identifying rare mint mistakes? Drop a comment below, let's get the conversation started. Your discoveries and questions could help other collectors uncover their own hidden treasures. Top 4, we're diving deep into the 2018 United States Cumberland Island Quarter, a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance, but trust me, there's a lot more to this little piece of metal than meets the eye. If you love coins or are just starting your collection, listen closely because by the end of this video, you'll know why some versions of this quarter can be worth an astonishing $56,000. Now, the 2018 Cumberland Island Quarter was part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a series designed to honor national parks and historic sites across the United States. This coin features the beautiful Cumberland Island National Seashore in Georgia, depicting a loggerhead sea turtle making its way toward the ocean, a perfect tribute to this protected coastal area known for its rich wildlife and pristine beaches. While millions of these quarters were minted and entered everyday circulation, what really excites collectors is when unique minting errors appear, turning a common coin into a rare and valuable treasure. The 2018 Cumberland Island Quarter is no exception. One of the most notable and sought-after errors on this coin is the die crack error. During the minting process, the die, the metal stamp that strikes the coin, can sometimes develop small cracks. When a cracked die strikes a coin, raised lines appear on the surface that aren't part of the original design. For the Cumberland Island Quarter, these cracks can appear as fine raised lines near the turtle's flippers or along the lettering and edge of the coin. Each die crack is unique, almost like a fingerprint, which adds to the coin's appeal for collectors. Another fascinating error to look out for is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin isn't properly aligned during minting, resulting in the design being shifted off-center. For the Cumberland Island Quarter, this means part of the turtle or the inscription may be missing or cut off. These off-center coins are exciting because no two are exactly alike, making each one a special find. Then, there's the double die error, which is among the most prized by collectors. In this case, the coin's design elements, such as the letters or parts of the turtle, appear doubled or shadowed due to the coin being struck more than once with slightly misaligned dies. This error makes the coin stand out dramatically and significantly boosts its value. So how can you spot these errors for yourself? It all starts with close observation. Use a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to inspect your Cumberland Island quarters. Look carefully for raised lines that seem out of place or cracked. check if the design looks off balance or cut off, and watch for any doubling in the letters or images. Comparing your coin to a standard, flawless quarter can help you catch these subtle but important differences. Why are these errors so valuable? The U.S. Mint produces millions of quarters annually, but errors like these are rare exceptions that slip through the strict quality controls. Because they are limited and often visually striking, error coins become prized collectibles. The rarer the error and the better the coin's condition, the higher the price collectors are willing to pay. To put this into perspective, recent auctions have seen some of the finest error examples of the 2018 Cumberland Island quarter sell for jaw-dropping sums. One spectacular specimen, featuring a prominent double die and distinct die cracks, sold for a staggering $56,000. That's right, $56,000 for a quarter that most people would overlook in their pocket change. If you've got a collection or even just a handful of quarters, don't rush past the 2018 Cumberland Island coin without taking a close look. You might be holding onto a numismatic treasure worth much more than you think. I want to hear from you. Have you ever discovered an error coin like this? Or do you have questions about identifying rare mint mistakes? Drop a comment below and share your experiences or ask away. The coin collecting community thrives when we learn and discover together. Top 5. We're focusing on a coin that's part of the America the Beautiful series but has turned heads in the numismatic world, the 2013 Great Basin National Park Quarter. This coin might look like just another quarter in your pocket, but if you're a collector or just love uncovering rare finds, listen carefully because some versions of this coin are worth an incredible $66,000. The Great Basin Quarter was released in 2013 and celebrates the stunning Great Basin National Park in Nevada. Its reverse design features a striking image of a bristlecone pine tree with the Wheeler Peak in the background, an artistic nod to the park's ancient natural beauty. Millions of these quarters were produced, meaning many are out there in circulation, but hidden within that mass production are some rare errors that make certain coins extraordinarily valuable. So what exactly makes these 2013 Great Basin quarters so special? The key lies in the minting errors and variations, which are highly sought after by collectors. First, one of the most notable mistakes found on some coins is the die crack error. This happens when the metal die used to strike the coin develops cracks over time. When the cracked die strikes a coin, raised lines, often called die cracks, appear on the surface in unexpected places. For the Great Basin Quarter, these cracks often show up near the branches of the bristlecone pine or running across the lettering. Each die crack is unique and adds character, telling the story of the minting process gone slightly awry. These lines can vary from faint hairlines to bold raised ridges that really catch the eye. Another highly collectible error to watch for is the off-center strike. This error occurs when the coin blank isn't aligned properly during the strike, causing the design to be shifted off its usual position. Imagine a quarter where the Wheeler Peak or the bristlecone pine is partially missing or cut off at the edge. That's an off-center strike, and it's a prized find because no two off-center errors are exactly the same. These coins show a dramatic deviation from the standard look and are true conversation starters. Then, we have the coveted double die error, one of the most spectacular mistakes a coin can have. This occurs when the coin is struck twice with misaligned dies, causing the images or text on the coin to appear doubled or shadowed. On the Great Basin Quarter, this doubling might be noticeable on the lettering or even on parts of the tree or mountain, making the coin visually unique and highly sought after. So, how can you spot these errors on your own coins? It takes a keen eye and a little patience. Grab a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe and inspect the surface closely. Look for raised lines or cracks that don't belong, check if the design looks off-center or cut off, and examine the lettering for any signs of doubling. Comparing your coin side by side with a regular Great Basin quarter can really help highlight these rare features. Why do collectors prize these error coins so much? Because the U.S. Mint produces millions of quarters with a strict quality process, but very few coins slip through with these rare imperfections. The limited number and striking appearance of these errors make them highly collectible and valuable, and here's some real-world context. A stunning 2013 Great Basin quarter showcasing prominent die cracks and a clear double die error recently sold at auction for an astonishing $66,000. This incredible figure shows just how much collectors value these rare minting anomalies, especially when the coin is in pristine, uncirculated condition. If you're sorting through your coin collection or just your everyday change, don't overlook the 2013 Great Basin Quarter. Take the time to check for these special errors. You might be holding a numismatic treasure that's worth far more than its face value. Have you ever come across an error coin like this? Or maybe you're wondering how to identify or value your coins. Drop your stories and questions in the comments below. We love hearing about your finds and helping each other spot those hidden gems. Top 6. We're turning our attention to a fascinating piece from the United States Mint, the 2009 U.S. Virgin Islands Quarter. On the surface, it might look like your everyday quarter, but listen closely, because some versions of this coin have stunned collectors by being worth an incredible $72,000. Let's set the scene. The 2009 U.S. Virgin Islands Quarter was part of the America the Beautiful series, highlighting this tropical paradise with a vibrant design featuring the iconic yellow cedar tree and the breathtaking Trunk Bay Beach. This coin captures the beauty and spirit of the U.S. Virgin Islands and was minted in huge numbers for circulation. But, just like many coins in history, it's the rare errors and unique features that make some of these quarters extraordinarily valuable. So, what exactly makes the 2009 U.S. Virgin Islands Quarter so rare and prized by collectors? First up is the notorious die crack error. This occurs when the minting die, the steel tool that stamps the coin, develops tiny cracks. When this cracked die strikes a coin, raised lines or fractures show up on the surface, usually near the design elements or around the lettering. For the Virgin Islands Quarter, these die cracks often appear near the branches of the yellow cedar or in the lettering around the rim. Each crack has its own shape and pattern, making every error coin unique, like a fingerprint. These raised lines are a telltale sign for collectors hunting for rare mint mistakes. Another eye-catching error is the off-center strike. This error happens when the coin blank isn't perfectly aligned under the die during the strike, causing part of the design to be missing or pushed to one side. Imagine the beautiful beach scene or tree partially cut off or skewed to one edge. That's an off-center strike. Coins with this error come in varying degrees, from slight misalignments to dramatic shifts that reveal a plain metal edge on part of the coin. These are very rare and highly desirable for collectors because each one is unique. Then there's the incredible double die error. This error happens when the coin is struck twice with dies that are slightly misaligned, creating a doubled image or text. On the U.S. Virgin Islands Quarter, this doubling might be noticeable in the lettering or parts of the tree and beach details. This makes the coin look like it has a shadow or ghost image and can instantly increase its value by thousands of dollars. Double dies are among the most exciting and valuable errors in numismatics. How can you spot these errors yourself? Grab a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe and examine your 2009 U.S. Virgin Islands Quarters closely. Look for raised lines that aren't part of the original design, check if the image or lettering looks off-center, or search for any doubling effect in the text or artwork. Comparing your coin to a flawless version online or in a collection guide will help you spot these subtle but crucial details. But why do these errors command such high prices? The U.S. Mint produces millions of quarters, but only a tiny fraction come out with these rare imperfections. The scarcity and distinctiveness of these error coins make them highly collectible and incredibly valuable, especially if they're in excellent condition. Speaking of value, here's a fascinating fact: a remarkable 2009 U.S. Virgin Islands Quarter exhibiting both die crack and double die errors recently sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $72,000. That's right, $72,000 for a single quarter. This astounding figure highlights just how much collectors are willing to pay for rare, authentic error coins with strong eye appeal and verified authenticity. If you're sorting through your coin collection or even just your spare change, don't overlook the 2009 U.S. Virgin Islands Quarter. Take your time, inspect carefully, and who knows, you might be holding a numismatic treasure that could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Have you ever found an error coin like this, or do you have questions about identifying rare mint mistakes? Share your experiences and questions in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories and help you spot those hidden gems. Top 7 and last rare coin. we're zeroing in on a truly captivating piece from the United States Mint, the 2007 Utah Quarter. Now, at first glance, it might seem like just another coin from the America the Beautiful series, but if you're a dedicated collector or just love uncovering rare finds, listen up, because some of these Utah quarters have been turning heads and auction rooms, with values reaching as high as $64,000, released as part of the 50-state quarters program. The 2007 Utah Quarter beautifully showcases the delicate arch, one of Utah's most iconic natural landmarks. The design highlights the stunning red rock formation set against a mountainous backdrop, a true symbol of the state's breathtaking landscapes. Millions of these quarters were struck and entered everyday circulation, but buried among them are some incredibly rare error coins that are catching collectors' eyes worldwide. So, what sets these 2007 Utah quarters apart from the ordinary? The answer lies in the fascinating world of minting errors, those tiny imperfections or variations that can make all the difference in value. One of the most sought-after errors for this coin is the die crack. Imagine the steel die used to stamp the coin develops a tiny crack. When it presses the coin, it leaves raised lines or fractures, often appearing near the arch or the lettering. These die cracks are like nature's fingerprint, no two are the same, and they turn what could be a common coin into a rare collectible. If you spot these raised, irregular lines running through the design or near the edges, you could be looking at a valuable die crack error. Another striking error is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin blank isn't perfectly aligned beneath the die during the strike, causing the design to shift off the center. On the Utah Quarter, this can mean part of the famous arch is missing or cut off, with a blank metal border exposed on one side. Off-center strikes are highly prized because of their dramatic look and rarity, making each one unique in its own right. Then, there's the highly collectible double die error. This is when the coin is struck twice with slightly misaligned dies, creating a doubled or shadowed image or text. On the 2007 Utah Quarter, collectors often notice doubling in the lettering around the coin's edge or in the arch itself. These double impressions create a stunning visual effect and can increase the coin's value exponentially. Now, how can you check your own coins for these incredible errors? It's all about a close inspection. Grab a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe and carefully examine the surface of your Utah quarters. Look for raised cracks, off-center designs, or any doubling in the images or text. Compare your coin side by side with a standard version online or in a guidebook to spot subtle but crucial differences. So why do collectors prize these error coins so much? Because despite the millions of quarters minted each year, these errors occur in only a tiny fraction of them. Their rarity, combined with striking visual appeal, turns them into numismatic treasures that collectors are willing to pay top dollar for, especially if the coin is in excellent condition. To put things in perspective, a recent auction saw a magnificent 2007 Utah Quarter with prominent die cracks and a clear double die error sell for a staggering $64,000. This incredible sale proves that even quarters from recent decades can hold immense value when they feature rare minting mistakes. If you're sorting through your coin collection or just looking through your pocket change, don't overlook the 2007 Utah Quarter. Take your time to inspect it closely. You could be holding a valuable piece of history that's worth far more than its face value. Have you ever found a mint error on your coins? Or maybe you're curious about how to tell if your quarters have these rare features? Drop your stories and questions in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your discoveries and help you spot those hidden treasures. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2007 Utah Quarter and want more insights into rare and valuable coins, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on future coin hunts. Thanks for joining me today, and as always, happy collecting!